The first thing we need to do is import all of our files into After Effects. So I'm going to go to File, Import File, or Command I, and then just select the PSD file. Make sure I have Import As set to Composition Retain Layer Sizes. And if you don't see these options, just click on this option button down here. And then hit Open. And then just choose again Editable Layers and hit OK. Then if I go over to my project panel and double click the Explore Colorado, I open up my Photoshop file and I have the two layers that I had in Photoshop, the design layer and the background. If you created your design in Illustrator, you're going to be able to save some time here. So I'm going to show you that first. So I'm going to go Command I to import my Illustrator file. So select the Illustrator file, make sure I have Import As, Composition, Retain Layer Sizes, and then hit Open. Now it's named this Explore Colorado 2 because I already had a comp, which is my PSD file, called Explore Colorado. So I'm just going to go into my Explore Colorado 2, which is the AI version. I can see that I have all of my Illustrator layers separated out, just like I had them in Illustrator. Now if you didn't start in Illustrator and you don't have this Illustrator file, what you can do is within the Photoshop comp in After Effects, is you can just go in and trace all of your letters with the pen tool. What we need to do is create a line that we can animate, so we can animate these letters on. So I'll show you how to trace these letters in After Effects. So go up to your top panel here with all of your tools and select the pen tool, which is this one right here. Then you're going to go in and make sure that your stroke up here is set to a color that you're going to be able to see, that's going to show up on top of your design. And don't worry, you won't see this color in your final piece. And then you don't want to have a fill, so click on the word fill and then click on the none option and click OK. So you're just going to draw with the pen tool like you would in Photoshop or Illustrator. And just try to trace your letters as close to they are in the original version as you can. But don't worry about being perfect the first time you do this because it's really easy to go back and adjust. So you want to trace each piece of your letter separately. So now I have the E. I'm going to go back to my selection tool. The shortcut is V. And then I'm just going to go in and adjust these points so it's a little bit more lined up. If you need to select your path again because it got deselected, you want to go down to your shape layer that you just created, toggle down, and then go down to path. And you just want to select that layer right there, and that will select the path so you can edit it. If you toggle down and select this bottom layer path, you can actually move the whole thing if you were a little bit off for some reason. So selecting this top layer path lets you adjust the actual points. Now say you wanted to add a point because you can't really get this exact with the points you have here. So what you need to do is go up to the pen tool, click and hold, and then go to Add Vertex tool. If you need to subtract a point for any reason, you also have the Delete Vertex tool right here. So I'm going to add Vertex tool and then just add a point like right here. And then I'm going to go back to my selection tool so I can adjust these points. Now you'll notice that the ends of these lines are flat and I want them to be rounded. So what I can do is go into Stroke, then where it says Line Cap, change it from Butt Cap to Round Cap. And then I'm going to toggle up on this shape layer, just hit Enter to name it. I can type, hit Enter again, and then I'm going to select anywhere on my timeline that's not the E so that it's deselected, and then I'm going to repeat that process with the pen tool to draw the rest of my letters on. Now if you have an Illustrator file like I do, you don't have to trace all of your letters again. So I'm just going to delete these two layers and I'm going to go in to my Illustrator version, which is the Explore Colorado 2. I'm going to select all of the Illustrator layers except for the background. And then I'm going to right click, go to Create Shapes from Vector Layer. Then it's created outlines, which are lines that I'm going to be able to animate. They're basically the same exact thing as those shape layers that I was just drawing. So I'm going to copy all of these layers by hitting Command C, then go back into my Photoshop version and hit Command V to paste them. This is a good time to save our file. So hit Command S to save. I like to have a main folder where I keep everything for the project. And then I'll have a folder within that folder for Illustrator files, Photoshop files, or anything like that. And then I like to have another folder at that same level for After Effects files. So I have that folder right here, and I'm just going to name this and hit save. It's important that you keep all of your files organized when you're working between Photoshop, Illustrator, and After Effects, because if you move one of the files that your After Effects project is sourcing, it'll have a missing file error and then you won't be able to see your design. So make sure you stay organized and don't move around any files once you've got going in After Effects.